balance that against the liability and the population bomb, because it's also a burden to have so many people. 20 million people are supposedly reaching the job market age, not that many jobs being created. So are we headed for a kind of a population disaster? Because we're going on adding more people, but we're not having more land. We can't grow infinitely more food, and there's all kinds of issues with large populations. So what do you think of that?
Rajiv, let me give you data. Once again, let's go by data. Our population is about 1.3 billion, growing at 1.2% a year this year, maybe 1.3, 1.2. The fertility rate for India is 2.3, replacement rate is 2.1. All right? The whole of the south, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka, fertility rate is only 1.7. So West Bengal is 1.6, Punjab is 1.6, Bihar is about 3.2, UP is 2.8, Rajasthan is 2.4, Madhya Pradesh is 2.4. In 1971, the south was 30% of India. In 2011, it's become 25% of India. So we have a problem between the north and the south. Right. The south is more accomplished. South population not growing so much. Is that less than replacement rate? Educated, it is aging.
Because more
much better educated, much better governed, and that's why the growth rate in the south is much higher than in the cow belt or the Ganges belt, where there's a governance problem and many things else. Even West Bengal fertility rate has come down. I believe that our fertility rate will come to replacement in the next maybe 5-7 years.
Is it related to education or to income?
It is related to education. It is related to education and income, because once you educate women, they don't have so many children. Now, if you look at data, I've seen some data. An uneducated woman has 5 to 6 children. A semi-educated woman has about 3 to 4. A matriculate woman has about 2 to 3, and a highly educated woman has just 1 child. The data is very evident. So when women get empowered, women are educated, they economically want to go and work, they have lesser children. Right. And today, a child is very expensive. If you want to give a child good education, it's going to cost you 1 crore. From the time the child is born till the child gets a degree and goes for a job, it's going to cost you 1 crore. It's a huge, huge investment. And subconsciously, I think many of us understand that, especially women, they don't want to bear the child and carry on and spend money on the child and spend time on the child. They're having lesser children. So that is working. Economic growth is the best thing. Women's education is the best thing. Even for minorities who tend to have larger families, because they're 10 years behind. If you look at disaggregated data, the SC/ST community and the minorities are 10 years behind in terms of children. It's more a function of women's education. Women not getting a good education, women marrying earlier. And
so
women,
a great long-term investment for India.
Best long-term investment is educate all the young girls, give them an education till maybe a master's degree, so they marry much later, and you'll remake a country.
Yes.
That's what I'm telling you.
I think this is
the first decade after independence, Nehru's fallacies were not developing literacy, not educating a woman, not doing what Mao did.
Right.
Women hold up half of heaven. And now you see China, $12.5 trillion economy. Now, we have to go back and find a reason, but it's not too late. Let's do it now. If we do it, India will be a changed country. Now, you spoke about the demographic dividend. I'm really worried for my country, and let me give you data. For the last 30 years, India has been producing 25 million babies. You can verify the data. The census gives a population every 10 years. You are 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2011. You take the last 30 years, opening balance, closing balance, take the average, add the death rate, you get 25 million. The data is there. 1 million die before the age of 5. Infant mortality is 45 per thousand per year and all that. So 24 million attain the age of 21 every year. And will attain the age of 21 for the next 20 years. They're already born. Out of that, I reckon personally, 30% don't want jobs or get married. I may be going to agriculture, because agriculture occupies 45% of India's working population. So I would reckon 30%. So we need 17 million jobs, 16 million jobs a year. We are producing 6 to 7 million jobs. The data for the jobs is available in the government. I'm working on a report for that. So 10 million people have not got good jobs for each of the last 10 years.
Very serious matter.
Good jobs means getting more than 10,000 rupees. They got 2,000, 3,000 or something. They've not got good jobs, maybe out of which half of them are educated. Half of them are 3/4 educated. And for the next 10 years, we're going to have the same 10 million because of jobs are getting automated, because things are getting better. Things are getting very different. So by 2025, we'll have 20 crore people in the age group of 21 to 45 who are educated, who are literate will not have good job because the economy can't support them.
That's very
We're the lost
explosive.
generation.
Yes.
So we are in the midst of a demographic disaster. There is no demographic dividend.
Yes,
And
think
that
this
is what you're seeing, Rajiv,
Right.
in the Gujar agitation, the Jat agitation, the Patidar agitation, the Tamil problem in Jallikattu, the Maratha problem. All these agitations are there because these people have come out. They want jobs, there are no jobs, and the education is of poor quality, but they're literate, but they got high aspiration, there are no jobs. Are jobs giving them the money they want?
Yeah, and I as a Delhi wala, I can tell you a lot of the crime in Delhi is youth from surrounding areas like Haryana and various places who are at that age bracket. They don't have jobs. They come, they are drunk, they are doing all kind of things. So there is a large crime issue.
Our political leaders don't recognize the issue. They still talk about demographic dividend. There's a disaster happening.
that
Please,
is-
for God's sake, take it.
Yeah.
In the south, it is much less.
Yes, yes.
Because in the south, the number of babies produced is coming down. They're getting better education. There's higher economic growth in the south. That the last service industry in the south is happening. In the north, the middle belt, the service industry paying good jobs is very little. Manufacturing has not been happening there. Infrastructure is poor. Governance is poor. And there you have a major challenge.
And I think the government is in denial mode because if they admit there's a problem, then they are expected
No,
to
government
solve
is
it.
denial because government doesn't look at data.
Yeah.
I have not heard any bureaucrat look at data and analyze and take a decision. They don't look at data. I've been writing, I wrote to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh about 4 years ago saying that, look, the data about formal employment is there with you, have a look because there can't be jobless growth. India has grown at 8.8% a year in dollar terms between 1991 till 2017 from $275 billion to $2.25 trillion. The data is there. It's 8.8% CAGR. All right. Now, when you grow 8.8% CAGR, jobs should be at least 2%, 3%, right? 3% of population. 3% of population jobs should be there. They said jobless growth is impossible. There are 100 million people on payroll today. In the formal sector, in all the sector, including government. Government doesn't have the data. They don't look at data. They don't analyze. They don't try to find out how many people are coming off the land who want jobs, in which district of the country, what are the internal migration taking place, where they're getting educated, how they're coming out, what are the jobs being produced, where are the jobs being produced, how to give them the jobs, how to skill them. They're all shooting in the dark.
So is